In the depths of 19th-century Boston, a man with a seemingly ordinary life harbored a chilling secret. Known for his devotion to the Baptist Church and his respected position as a sexton, concealed a sinister darkness within. Behind closed doors, he grappled with an addiction that unleashed his most disturbing desires. As his public persona charmed the community, he embarked on a path of arson, the precursor to his descent into murder. Thomas W. Piper, born on April 22, 1849 in Nova Scotia, spent his early days laboring as a carpenter on his family's farm. However, in 1866, he and his family made the decision to uproot themselves and move to Boston. While occasionally assisting his father, he harbored aspirations for greater endeavors. Known for his literacy and quick wit, Piper secured various clerical positions within the city. Moreover, he demonstrated a devout commitment to the Baptist faith by actively participating in church services, eventually leading to his appointment as a sexton at the Warren Avenue Baptist Church. However, unbeknownst to most, Piper grappled with a kidney ailment, which he sought to alleviate through a clandestine addiction, a concoction of laudanum mixed with alcohol, provoking hallucinations. Lurking beneath his public persona, Piper surreptitiously embarked upon a path of arson, which preceded his initial foray into the realm of murder. On a chilling December night in 1873, Thomas found himself walking alongside his two brothers on their way to the church in Dorchester. Suddenly, Piper's demeanor shifted, and he complained of feeling unwell, expressing his desire to return home. His brothers, concerned for his health, reluctantly bid him farewell and continued their journey. Piper's true intentions, however, were far from innocent. He veered off his brother's path and made his way to a nearby establishment that sold opium. There, he procured the dangerous substance and mixed it with alcohol, concocting a potent elixir of oblivion. After downing the entire concoction, Piper then retreated to the familiarity of his home. Once inside, a sinister plan began to take shape in Piper's mind. He retrieved a saw and deliberately sawed off a piece of a shaft, meticulously preparing for the dark deeds that were about to unfold. With calculated steps, he ventured back outside, traversing the area and concealing himself beneath a fence, hidden from prying eyes. The night took an unexpected turn when a fire alarm pierced the air, momentarily enveloping the area in chaos and confusion. Seizing this opportunity, Piper emerged from his hiding place, joining his brother on the street. It was then that he noticed a young woman walking towards them, Bridget Land Reagan, a respected domestic servant making her way back to her employer's residence. As his brothers retreated indoors, Piper feigned exhaustion, claiming he would retire for the night. However, his true intentions were far more sinister. Instead of heading to bed, he descended into the kitchen and retrieved the sawed-off shaft, clutching it tightly in his hands. With predatory determination, he began to stalk Bridget, silently trailing her until they reached Columbia Street. The moment of confrontation arrived when Bridget became aware of Piper's presence. Fear and confusion etched across her face as she attempted to comprehend the danger that loomed before her. In an instant, Piper struck her mercilessly with the shaft, causing her to crumple to the ground. But the assault did not end there. Driven by a dark and violent force within him, Piper delivered another devastating blow, shattering Bridget's skull and extinguishing her life. With a lifeless body lying before him, Piper's attention was abruptly drawn to the approaching figure of a man. Panic and urgency surged through him as he quickly assessed the situation. Fleeing from the scene, he swiftly scaled a nearby fence, maneuvering his escape route along the railroad tracks. Along the way, he disposed off a knife, fearing it could be traced back to him. The aftermath of this heinous act saw a flurry of arrests, including Piper himself. However, due to insufficient evidence, he was initially released. Determined to bring justice to Bridget's tragic fate, detectives sought to question a former lover of hers, an Irishman named Thomas Cahill. Cahill was subsequently extradited from Ireland, but the investigation failed to uncover any concrete evidence linking him to the murder. Cahill eventually made his way back to Ireland, only to meet his own demise at the hands of an unknown assailant. In the year 1874, Piper found himself in the bustling downtown area of Boston, where fate would lead him to a fateful encounter. It was on Lagrange Street that he crossed paths with Mary Tyner, a woman working as a prostitute. Intrigued by her presence, Piper struck up a conversation with her, and their exchange quickly developed into an unexpected connection. Eager to prolong their interaction, he extended an invitation to Tyner to join him at a local saloon. Intrigued by the proposition, she agreed, and the two ventured into the establishment together. Sharing drinks and engaging in conversation, they formed a temporary bond. Their lives were intertwined in that fleeting moment. As the night progressed, Piper and Tyner made their way to her house, seeking solace and rest. Exhaustion eventually claimed them both, lulling them into a deep slumber. However, what should have been a peaceful reprieve took a sinister turn when Thomas abruptly awoke in the darkness. With chilling determination, he seized hold of a hammer-like object within his reach. Unleashing an unexpected wave of violence, Piper mercilessly struck Tyner multiple times on the head, shattering the tranquility of the night. In the aftermath of this savage act, Piper swiftly made his exit from the house, choosing an unconventional escape route by slipping out through a window. Seeking shelter and perhaps solace, he sought refuge within the walls of the church, spending the remainder of the night hidden amidst its sacred halls. Miraculously, Tyner managed to survive the harrowing attack, yet she was unable to identify her assailant. The trauma she endured took a toll on her mental well-being, ultimately leading to her confinement as an inmate in a lunatic asylum. Driven by the pursuit of the truth, authorities made an arrest in connection with the incident. Colby, a former lover of Tyner's, found himself under scrutiny and facing the weight of suspicion. However, the evidence presented against him proved inadequate, ultimately leading to his release. On May 23, 1875, the Warren Avenue Baptist Church held a service where Thomas Piper served as sexton. During this time, a young girl named Mabel Hood Young, merely 5 years old, attended the gathering. Unbeknownst to anyone, Piper had retrieved a bat from a lower room, harboring sinister intentions. As the service concluded, Piper discreetly dismissed the boys who were playing in the vestibule, clearing the path for his disturbing plan. Capitalizing on the innocence of young Mabel, he enticed her with the allure of pigeons residing in the tower. In a shocking act of violence, Piper mercilessly struck young Mabel on the head multiple times with the bat. The force of his actions caused Mabel to collapse to the ground, her fragile body grievously injured. Mistakenly believing her to be lifeless, he began to execute his disturbing plan. However, a moment of chilling realization struck him, when he discovered that Mabel still clung to life, albeit in a severely injured state. Overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, Piper made the decision to relocate the badly wounded girl to another location. It was there that Mabel would be discovered shortly after. The urgency of the situation prompted swift action, but tragically, Mabel's injuries proved insurmountable. The following day, she succumbed to the devastating consequences of the attack, leaving a void of grief and heartbreak in her wake. The heinous nature of Piper's actions could not escape the watchful eye of the law. Promptly apprehended, he was taken into custody, ensuring that he would face the legal repercussions of his abhorrent deeds. Piper faced his first trial, led by Suffolk County District Attorney Oliver Stevens, which ultimately resulted in a hung jury. Throughout the proceedings, he vehemently proclaimed his innocence. Moreover, the absence of substantial reasons or evidence to support his conviction further bolstered his defense. The jury was divided, with 9 members leaning towards a conviction and 3 advocating for his acquittal. In the subsequent trial, Attorney General Charles Train took charge. Despite the absence of concrete proof, Piper was convicted based on circumstantial evidence. Initially, Piper appeared stoically indifferent during the court proceedings, but his demeanor gradually transformed into one of increasing concern as he was escorted back to his cell. In a desperate act, he hastily composed a letter addressed to his mother, expressing his hopes for an acquittal while acknowledging its improbability. However, this attempt to elicit sympathy from the public proved unsuccessful. Prior to his conviction, Piper had fabricated a story detailing how Mabel met her demise, which initially appeared believable. He claimed that he intended to show Mabel his pigeons, but found the air stuffy. Consequently, he opened the window to let in fresh air, and used a bat to keep it propped open. Piper left momentarily, only to return and discover that the trapdoor had fallen on Young's head. Fearing accusations of assault, he rushed downstairs to inform a few women about the accident, but remained silent out of fear. The motive behind the crime was believed to be driven by a disturbing desire for bloodshed, and Piper, overwhelmed by the intense pressure of the situation, eventually confessed to the murder of Young. To the astonishment of the Boston community, he also admitted to other heinous acts, including the killing of Land Reagan, the series of arsons, and the assault on Tyner. However, due to insufficient evidence, he was not convicted of these additional crimes. Nonetheless, Piper received a death sentence specifically for the murder of Mabel Young. Despite his efforts to appeal the sentence, Piper's appeals proved unsuccessful, and on May 26, 1876, Piper faced his execution by hanging, an event witnessed by a crowd of at least 300 individuals. Piper's remains were privately laid to rest at Mount Hope Cemetery. In the aftermath of his execution, Piper's family requested that Sheriff John M. Clark withhold the release of Thomas's comprehensive written confession detailing the crimes. Recognizing the public's aversion to further horrors associated with the murderer's deeds, Clark honored their plea, as most of Piper's crimes had already been made known to the public. The story of Thomas Piper serves as a chilling reminder that even individuals leading seemingly ordinary lives can harbor unfathomable darkness within them. May the memory of his victims live on, and may their stories serve as a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice and the indomitable spirit of those impacted by his monstrous deeds. As we contemplate this dark chapter in history, let us aspire to build a world where such horrors are relegated to the depths of the past.